Yo, it started recording already. Mad. نحمد ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. You are tuned in back once again to the Helper's Gift. We've been saying that. Oh, well, some people have been saying it's not popping. It's not popping. But inshallah today we'll get some ears perked up.
Who said it's not popping?
A few people said it's not popping, bro. Like, what do you mean?
Who said it's not popping? I heard nothing.
That's because you don't speak.
I do speak. I ain't heard nothing. The people I speak to are actually listening to it. I do speak. To who? Every week. The people I speak to are actually listening to it, but then again, it's the same three people every week.
I've been trying to get guests. I've been trying to get guests, but...
No. For me, I'm saying the same three. It's the same three people. No. For me, I'm saying the same three people that listen to it every week. So we got 3 loyal fans.
20.
Yeah, I don't see the numbers like you, but I don't see the numbers like you, but let's just say 3 people I know personally that actually listen to it, and I'm like, damn.
As you can see, my camera
they actually listen to it.
Because I'm using my phone.
This ain't pop. That's why you haven't bought me better equipment yet.
That's because you got a dead laptop.
You're blurry on mine. I won't lie, you're blurry on mine, but yeah. Your words, not mine.
Alright. Basically, today's topic, what I'm going to talk to you about is because you're younger than me, yeah? You're you.
Not that young, but yeah, okay, old man.
So that's why I want to talk about, because I was speaking to somebody yesterday, youngster. It's weird I can say that word. And he was talking about, I said, what is the biggest trouble that is facing the school kids nowadays? And he said LGBTQ. Muslim youngsters, obviously, yeah? So he said LGBTQ. And there was, Mona Abdul Majid?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mona Abdul Majid, I called him down to here, alhamdulillah, on, what was it, Saturday? So yesterday. I called him here, and yeah, he done a bayan, little talk for the youth and stuff. And he said something that you might like, that there's 4 points of, 4 things that we need to improve before we want our situation to improve. Like, we need to improve these 4 things. Socially, we need to improve. Politically, we need to improve. Ethically, we need to improve. And religiously, we need to improve. If you improve these 4 things, the future is kind of safe. But going off of what that kid said, LGBTQ being forced at the youngsters, now, like, if you don't improve those 4 things, right, the LGBT agenda or whatever is being pushed on the youngsters would only become more influential, innit?
Well, of course it is. Like you said it yourself, it's being pushed onto people. It's being pushed onto us. It's being pushed onto that person. So, like, if you can't defend yourself, like with anything, how are you going to stick to your views? It's not even a matter of opposing it and shutting these people down or shutting down other beliefs. It's just sticking to what you know and having the knowledge to say no in a politically correct way, to say no from a religious perspective, to have the social skills to actually communicate your message, to say that it's not my belief. So yeah, he's right. Those 4 things come together so that you can socially communicate a message which is politically correct and it is in line with your religious and moral beliefs.
And this is where I'm going to sidetrack for a bit. Because the reason that the outcome from us not improving those things means that the children's upbringing Islamically isn't the way it should be. Hence, they become things that they shouldn't be. You see, there was... actually, that's a different story. But they're becoming... the way somebody put it once before, I don't think I should say the name, but he said, like, they're becoming simps. Just like
the
cuckold,
youth.
like, yeah,
that's the word.
Just simps, like mollycoddled.
To who though? To who?
To it doesn't matter, innit? Like to whoever. They're just becoming simps.
So what you're saying is weak, the youth, weak in the sense of you can't stand your ground, you can't stick up for yourself. That's what you mean. That's the politically
Mm,
correct way of saying it. You
no,
can't
I mean,
stick. You can't be steadfast in your own views.
no, I mean fully. I think I think the person meant, and I agree with what he meant. I think he meant fully. We are raising simps.
To be people pleasers.
Whatever you want to say, like, pleasing whoever, but not who they should be pleasing.
So pleasing the general
The
populace and the people. See, you
yeah,
know what? You know what? You know what? The reason why I'm trying so hard to use euphemisms right now is because if we're gonna say that we need to improve socially and politically, religiously, and what was the fourth?
religiously, socially,
Religiously,
politically, and
socially,
ethically.
politically, and ethically. Yeah, we gotta be ethical in the way we deliver the message, and we gotta do it in a politically and social way that people actually say, yeah, you're right. If you go call someone a cuck, yeah, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna say something equally bad back that probably rhymes with the word cuck. So let's find a better word, yeah. Let's find a better word. But
Uh,
not to say I don't agree to some extent. Like, yeah, I do feel like, I do feel like everybody wants to fit in and everybody wants to be the person that doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. Like, not just in this particular instance, isn't it? Like, no one wants to be that guy that's like, oh yeah, we're all doing this and that guy's doing that on his own. Like, what a loser. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I don't think we can call people cuck like that. If we're trying to
yeah,
deliver
no,
a
yeah,
message,
I get what you mean.
maybe you to me
But
and me to you. But like, imagine someone sitting there
nah,
listening, thinking like, yo, I was holding a flag because it's that Pride Month now, isn't it? Because even at my workplace they were doing it. Thank the Lord, it
is
hasn't
it?
come to. Yeah, at my workplace it's Pride Week or Pride Month. They haven't done anything directly at my office, but like I don't know. I hope it doesn't get forced down my throat because it's not something that I really sympathize with. But when
Hmm.
that bridge, when I come to that bridge, we can cross that. But honestly, it's something that they're doing all across. Something that they're doing all across. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if someone's
No,
gonna
I get
force
that.
you?
But then, in my opinion, there was one person that's battling it. Let's say combating it,
Yeah.
and that is the guy in it. You know the
Who's
guy.
the guy? Don't know who you're
The
talking
guy.
about. Don't know.
That
Top
is
G.
the
Is it a
yeah
top G? Is it a top G?
yeah. That's so. I was thinking then. So should we? Are we in line with that guy? Are we pushing that guy or not?
Well, if somebody says one thing right, do you push their whole agenda? Like everyone can agree with something with someone that they don't necessarily get along with, right? But in this particular case, Mr. Top G, like you gotta sympathize with a lot of his views in terms of the LGBT stuff. Like what he says, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the scholar here. A lot of it is in line with what Islam says as well, no?
Yeah, you could say so.
You could say so, or it is,
Um,
or the logic is derived from similar logics and teachings to Islam.
I would say similar. I'm not gonna say it's entirely in line with it.
Go on then, similar. So then, you being a scholar, elaborate for us,
That's the
enlighten
thing.
us with
Like
that wisdom.
I've never really looked into like what is his views, what is his ideas, what is all that stuff. I've never really
hmm
like I never really thought to educate myself with it.
Okay, so like, funnily enough, I actually saw a clip of this brother the other day. Yeah, and to put it simply, if you had to summarize this particular message in one sentence, it's men be men and women be women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously goes back to traditional roles, men being masculine and women being
Mm-hmm.
quite feminine. Men being the driving force, the leader, the alpha of the family, and then the woman being the one that nurtures the home, the upbringer, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would you explain that in Islamic terms?
What do you mean? Like women have their roles and men have their roles, or are you trying to say more like what does Islam say about that?
Yeah, like both. Like, how would you explain it in a coherent way or anyone listening to it, even someone that is pro LGBT or someone who's feminist or well masculinist or if that's even a word, that they'll
Misogynist.
understand, not misogynist, but yeah, that too,
Masculine?
whatever, isn't it? But someone who disagrees with us, but they'll understand your viewpoint. How would you explain it in a coherent way? Gender roles.
Um,
First of all, are there even gender
that's.
roles? Do you think there's gender roles?
I think I would say yes, there is. But if you were to ask me where's the proof of that, I would have to look for it. It's like not like I know off the top of my head that this is where the proof is for it.
Hmm. I
So
feel like
it's
I feel like it's a bit of a double standard. I feel like it's double standard in some cases. In some cases, because obviously I'm into sports. When I'm on BBC Sport, and then I read articles about how like uh, in football or in America as they call it soccer, yeah, and they talk about how the U.S. men's national team and the U.S. women's national team they should be paid equally because men and women are the same, right? But
mm,
then in a different American sport, let's say a guy, I can't remember the guy's
NBA.
name, not NBA, but it was in swimming. Some guy who was ranked 400 and something in the men's swimming nationally, he went and then he became a transgender. He identified as a female, and all of a sudden he's the top female in the country. Do you see what I mean? So,
There's bears like that though.
so when I see stuff like that, I'm a bit like, isn't that a bit of a double standard? Because now you're turning around and saying, or the people in that swimming sport turning around and saying stuff like, yo, men be men, go play in your sport. The women, let us compete. The reason why there was differentiation in the sports was simply down to the fact that men and women are biologically different. They are different in their own ways. They're unique in their own ways. And for men and women to compete, it's unfair. It's like asking a fish and a monkey to climb a tree, and then that's the litmus test of seeing who can climb a tree better, who's the better animal. When in reality, the monkey can do things the fish can't, and the fish can do things that the monkey can't.
That's a good
Right?
example.
That is a good example. Because that's what it is. Like, obviously, a fish and a monkey, there's a lot of biological differences. But the analogy still works because biologically, yeah, the obvious thing is a woman can give birth and be a mother. And a father, like, well, he's the father. Like, can he give birth? Like, I've seen Mr. Piers Morgan at someone on Twitter about a man being pregnant, but I'm not quite sure how that works. And, like, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, there are things a woman can do that a man can't do, and there are things that a man can do that a woman can't do. But it's not
Hmm.
necessarily always something that's biological. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think you're getting away from what I wanted to talk about. The main topic I
Hey,
was
it's a
gonna say:
podcast, bro. Of course I'm gonna talk.
do we push that guy, bro? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like let's talk about this. I'm saying do we push that guy? Do we push Top G? Do we say to the youngsters to listen to him? Do we encourage it?
Push the views. You push the views. Like, I don't know if this is an Islamic saying or if it's just a proverb, but look at the message and not the messenger.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Give you that.
1400, 1500, 1600 years ago, you could look at the messenger and be like, yeah, you're a messenger of God. And your message is sahih, it's legit. But now, there ain't no prophets, there ain't no messages unless you follow a random sect of Islam that come up with someone new, like, that we don't know about. But there ain't no messengers. There's no nabis, no
They're not.
rasuls. There's no messengers.
They're, tech,
So,
they're technically not part of Islam if you believe in another messenger after the Prophet ﷺ, right?
hey, that's a whole debate for another day. We really gonna go there.
No, no, no. I think it's very simple. If you're a Jew and you say I believe in Jesus and he was a prophet, then you're not a Jew anymore. You're a Christian. If you're a Christian and then you say, "Oh, I believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam," you're not a Christian anymore. You believe in the last. You believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a prophet. It means you're Muslim now. If you're a Muslim and then you say, "I believe in Prophet after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam," it's a different religion, no?
So yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I feel
That's
you.
simple. But no, no. I have a different spin on the Andrew Tate one. The Andrew Tate one, like oh, Sap said his name. Um, It was more like so basically it's not my answer. I asked somebody this question and they said, look, what we should be saying is Alhamdulillah is a Muslim. So now he's increased value in himself. the deen has made him better. It's not that the deen has been made better by him. Not by him becoming Muslim or now Islam is now something bigger. Not now. But yeah, mashallah, he's become Muslim. It's good for him. And he's increased in his own value, if you think of it. So in that case, yeah. But do you encourage it? Do you push it? He's just another person. He's another person that holds views, and by all means, he can hold those views. But now does it mean that the Islamic views, and because of him having these views, now that is Islam? Nah.
When you say push someone, like it's such a the world that we live in now is it's a cancel culture. It's a cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
Even someone like I don't know who's a scholar with absolutely zero haters, apart from you, obviously, because you're an amazing scholar that nobody hates.
Go here. Mufti Menk.
There we go. How did I not think of that? That's such an obvious one. Let's be real. Amazing scholar. Qira is on point. Like he's got jokes, he's got bants. All it takes, someone as amazing as that, who his whole life, like people that aren't even practicing, they'll be tweeting about his events, light upon light, and they're enlightened by it. Yeah. All it takes is one slip up for Mufti Sab, and all of a sudden he's cancelled. Even after the years and years of work that he's done, and even after that, if he has one slip up, Allah forbid, right? And he goes back to doing double the work that he's done previously, he's cancelled. People are gonna remember him for the one thing he done wrong.
There is
That,
there
so
is efforts to cancel him.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a cancel culture. Now, someone like that who's already like got a lot of bad publicity, for us to push him as Muslims, in the event that anything does go wrong, even if he doesn't do anything wrong, this Mr. Top G, even if he doesn't do something wrong, either way, Islam's getting dragged through the mud, one way or another, one way or another. So, like the whole pushing of someone, like forget specifically pushing of someone. I'm just saying the whole pushing of someone will always come back to bite you because the world that we live in is one of cancer. It's one of gossip, media. Like we live in a world of gossip and what's it called, buck. How do you translate that in English? Buck.
Nonsense. Just nonsense
Yeah,
talk like
just
you.
nonsense. That nonsense talk, like meaningless talk. And one of my ustads said something that really hit me. And after this, it made me realize who my actual friends are. He said, anyone who you can't sit and have a conversation with without backbiting, gossiping, slandering, or just talking nonsense about someone that's not there. Anyone that you can't have a conversation with without going to those four things, they're not your friend. They're not someone you vibe with. They're not someone you get along with. They're just someone that you're talking to about things of interest. Otherwise, really and truly, you can go have that conversation with someone else about all that gossip and buck and nonsense. But anyone else who's a friend, supposedly, you'll talk to them about something meaningful. I don't know, be it about deen, be it about your career, be it about your family. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the world that we live in. Now, if everyone was to sit and ask themselves, when was the last time I sat down and had a conversation with my so-called friend, and I wasn't dissing our third friend, I wasn't talking about someone else's family, I wasn't talking about some celebrity who got caught doing adultery or something, and then ask yourself like, when was the last time I had a serious conversation with that friend? And how often can you have a serious conversation with a friend without getting bored of them? That is the litmus test. That is a litmus test to see who your friend is and who someone that you have in your social circle just to waffle with, just to talk to, just for the sake of talking to. We've
Mm.
gone completely off topic, but it goes back to the point that I'm making of cancel culture. Anyone can be cancelled. I personally wouldn't push no one, but if somebody says something that I like, I'll be like, yeah, I agree with that. I sympathize with that. I sympathize with that person's view.
Yeah, I
You
think
never
that's
know.
there's another proverb I think or saying that goes, don't idolize anyone that's alive because they still got time to make a mistake.
That's a good one. I've never heard that before. I'm gonna quote that with in circles that people don't know you, and I'll be like, yeah, I came up with that myself.
Because they could make their mistakes, where somebody that's already gone, they've lived their life, so all of their life is already on the table. If there's anything
Mm.
bad, then you won't take it, but you can take all the good. So I think that's where we come to as like, as imams, and that we always say, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ,
Uswa.
or لَقَدْ, yeah. So in the Prophet ﷺ is a good ideal for you, a good example for you to follow. Don't idolize and take anyone else as your role model. You should be taking the Prophet ﷺ.
Mm. I'm not trying to give a shout out to media and films and script writers, but there's a quote that I remember watching from a particular movie many years ago. May Allah forgive me, but I'm sure a lot of people remember this. What do people love to see most? The hero fall. That one, you see what I'm talking about?
I think
Like
so.
Spider-Man,
Is it?
Green Goblin.
Ah, nah, I don't
What do
remember that.
people want to see most? What do people love the most? When they see a hero fall. When they see
Hmm.
him at his peak, fall, and from hero to zero, as PC would say. Obviously, I can't remember the quote exactly, but the message is true. Like, it's more interesting to talk about someone's downfall than it is to talk about someone's accolades. Is it not?
Yeah, but then that comes from that ungratefulness and jealousy.
Ingratitude of what? Jealousy, therefore. But ingratitude of what? Ingratitude.
It's like ungratefulness of seeing somebody else do good. Like, it's not only jealousy that makes you
It's more
feel that
jealousy
it's
than,
like,
isn't it?
yeah, no, but then it's you're ungrateful at the fact that somebody can do it and you can do something else. Like, if somebody's doing something good, usually it's benefiting someone else. Like, I don't know. When you see someone doing something, you always look at, oh, how is he benefiting himself? Whereas, like, you never look at, oh, you know what? He's actually helped somebody out there.
That's more jealousy, isn't it? And more a lack of husnul dhan.
True.
No?
Yeah, true. But it
Benefit of the
comes
doubt.
because then, like, this week I talked about, like, there's the four hadith. I'll do that as the gift as well. There's four certain hadith that Imam Abu Dawud rahmatullah alayhi uses as his, like, he said, if any intelligent or intellectual person uses these four hadith, then they'll meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment with a clear chest, clear heart.
Mm.
I believe that's what he said, something to that nearest meaning. But one of them is, you don't you don't bring full iman until you love for your brother what you love for yourself.
Hey, the gift came early.
Oh, no, there's another three hadith, so I'll share that as well. The other three, but yeah, so that's the like, you won't like it someone talking about you behind your back. You don't like it somebody talking about your family behind your back. You don't like it when you do something sincerely that somebody talk out, nah, he's barely insincere, and you don't know if somebody's done anything insincerely or sincerely, and neither does anyone know if you done it sincerely or insincerely. Hence, if you don't want anyone to degrade your actions or talk about you and do all that, then you like that for yourself. So that means you should like it for others.
That's the hardest thing to do in life. That's one of the hardest things to do in life.
Mm,
Think about it. In everyone's life, the protagonist is yourself. It's your life. It's your story. So in your story, you're the protagonist, and everyone else is a side character, an antagonist, a colleague, or just someone who you've met along the way. So naturally, innately, instinctively, to see someone else above you, to beat you to it, as a human, it's like, it's my story, it's my life, and all that clout, and the main character is you. It's also a sign of pride, don't you think?
yeah, but that's that selfishness that you see in people nowadays. I said it before. I think there's a lot of selfishness going around now, where, like, everybody cares about themselves, even if they don't say it, even if they think they don't. Like, we will probably be guilty of this ourselves, but it's always like, oh yeah, I want to do this. Like, yeah, this is my plan. Yeah, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, and this and that. But you never think about your surroundings, the people around you, and all that. And I
Let's
think
find a
that's,
solution to it.
but that's the youngsters are being brought up with that chip on their shoulder, innit? You've been taught your rights more than other people's rights. The solution was given to us by PC, man, by Mufti Sab, Madrasa, chairman,
What was it?
chairman, principal. Do you remember when he said the story about when the reporter came and asked him a question?
No, I don't remember. Enlighten me.
So the reporter came and asked him the question about what's the difference between your school, which is boarding school that you have, the Islamic boarding school, and a normal school, state school, a public school. What's the difference? And he said, in your schools, you teach the kids their rights. Your right is to freedom of speech. Your right is to get this from this person, and your parents need to give you this, and you need a house to live in from them, and they need to give you clothes. And when you go outside, you can walk here and you can't walk there, and you're allowed to drive here. You can get this and you can get that, and these are your rights. Whereas in our schools, we teach them other people's rights upon them. You have to respect your elders. You have to show mercy to your youngsters. You have to treat your mother with care. Jannah is underneath her feet. You have to make sure you listen to your dad. You have to make sure you treat your neighbor properly. Treat your community properly. All of that stuff. We teach other people's manners and other people's what do you call it, rights to the children instead of their own. And I guess that's the solution, man. If the children are learning other people's rights instead of their own, then that's the only way you can combat that and take that selfishness away. And you can see in a few kids nowadays, but not many of them. Majority of them, you don't.
That's actually so true, you know. I don't remember PC saying that. Maybe because I didn't listen to him often. But that's true. Everyone's always so cooped up thinking about what they're entitled to, but they don't think about the duties that they have towards others. And you know what? I gave a Green Goblin quote earlier. Let's give another Spider-Man one. With great power comes responsibility, doesn't it? With the power of demanding your rights, you have the responsibility to give other people their rights. Wow. I'm not even trying to be cliche right now. I'm actually benefiting from you, Enam, today. Forget the listeners. I don't remember PC saying that. But if anybody ever asks me what's the difference between budding, instead of saying it was like HMP, I'm actually going to say what PC just said. And I'm going to sound so philosophically amazing. But, I'm going to give credit to you. I'm going to cite citation Inaam quoted by PC. Quote from PC, Mufti Mustafa. That's
Yeah,
me fulfilling your right. That's me fulfilling
Mufti
your right.
Musafa.
That's me
You probably
fulfilling
weren't
your
there when he
right.
said it. I don't know when
That's true.
he had the interview, but yeah, you may not have been there when he said it, but I remember him saying it.
It's like you said, I'm a youth compared to you.
Exactly, man. Full
That's so
circle.
true. Because I was just sitting here thinking, it just dawned upon me that biologically, we're created in a way where every man is for themselves. Now, if we were to wind back the clock
Mm.
600 years, 700 years, yeah? Or let's say there's some catastrophe in the world. Actually, forget, let's imagine a hypothetical. During COVID, right? During COVID, when
Yep.
there was all the lockdowns and stuff, it was every man for themselves. And we saw that firsthand when we wanted to get toilet paper. During the apparent fuel crisis, again, every man for themselves. Like, forget the guy next to you. Someone's got 9 bars out of 10. They're going and filling up fuel and putting it in containers. Why? Every man for themselves. Now, if we go back to our core fundamentals and we go back to us as how we were first as humans, if we believe in evolution and that, if we're going through hunger, starvation, and there's no food, there's limited supplies, and there's high demand, and it's you and another person, and there's a loaf of bread, chances are you're fighting over that loaf of bread, and you're thinking about yourself. You're thinking about yourself and your own stomach. So, like, as humans, that's how we're literally made. We're biologically, psychologically, emotionally made in
Wired.
that way. We're wired, yeah. It's in our DNA to be like that. But
What, selfish?
yeah, we are though, aren't we?
Mm,
Are we not?
maybe. I'm not sure because I think
I
if
think
you see children,
intrinsically
children share quite a bit. When you see children,
they
they
share
share
quite
quite
a
a
bit.
bit.
They share quite a bit. But if a kid's genuinely hungry and like, can I have some? They're like, no. Like,
Mm.
obviously, in some cases, it might be that your nephews and nieces don't like you. I can't relate because never happened to me. But like, if that kid's actually hungry, they're not sharing with you. I think intrinsically, humans are made to be selfish, but through upbringing, through
That's the
tarbiyah,
test.
what's the word for tarbiyah? Upbringing, isn't it?
Yeah, upbringing.
Through upbringing, you can sympathize with other people. With the upbringing where you learn about other people's rights, you will fight that innate desire, that barbaric or selfish desire, and say, no, the ethical, the moral thing to do here is help the other person out. And that's where you love for your brother what you love for yourself. So I think loving for your brother what you love for yourself is an internal battle against
Your nafs.
your nafs, and even more so like your internal biological innate wiring. That's what it
Mm.
means to love for your brother what you love for yourself. Now I can love for you, Inaam, to have a nice car, or I can love for you to have a nice chicken burger meal. But for me to get you that chicken burger meal, like, alhamdulillah, I can get you that easy, lightweight, no problem, right? And I get myself one as well, and we get some extra wings as well. And we go aqar. We haven't been in a hot minute, so we need to go sometime soon. Is that me loving for my brother what I love for myself? I buy you a kebab, and I buy it for myself as well. Is that me loving for my brother what I love for myself?
That is, but I wouldn't say that tells if you love for your brother or you love for yourself.
Right, let's say I was broke. Let's say I was broke.
That's what I'm saying. If you're
And let's say
broke
you were
and you
broke.
can only afford one, and then
And
you
I'm
say,
like, let's
"Nah, I
choose
ain't
it.
gonna have it."
And I'm like, hey, let's choose it. That's loving for your brother what you love for yourself.
True.
And then for you to have that same love for your brother what you love for yourself is to turn around and say, you know what? Nah, you know what? Let's get it, but we'll munch it together.
Yeah.
I'm hungry, you're hungry, we're both broke. We haven't got a nice kebab from there in a hot minute, even though it's like 12 pound now or something. Yeah?
Mad.
But but even though we wanted to put ourselves first, and we would have loved to put ourselves first, we put someone else first. I think that's truly loving for your brother what you love for yourself.
Yeah,
But
I'd say that's true, but it's
for us to get
it,
there
it
first, we've got to survive these cost of living though. They, no, I love you, and I love like kebabs and stuff, but with these cost of living, if I was to buy you one, take it as me loving for myself what I love for you, or loving for you what I love
yeah.
for myself.
But I think there's other things as well that go with it. Like
Like what?
if you learn more of the Sunnah and you learn more of the life of the Prophet Sallallahu, I guess you could say that it's much easier to actually do it because, like you said, you're gonna get one meal, yeah, and to us that food for one person, that's one person's food. But then in the Hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, one person's food is enough for two people's
Mm.
food is enough for four. So if we actually know that is in the Sunnah and we know that's a Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, we'd be like, yeah, I can get full on one meal, but that's me getting full. I don't need to be full.
One
So
third,
that's
brother.
where exactly one third. So that's where the whole, if you know that about the hadith and you know other things about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it makes it easier to do that, I think.
Let me ask you this one thing then. Do you
Go on.
think it's harder for us to have these qualities and attributes and to fulfill these teachings, namely love for your brother what you love for yourself, because we're so resigned, we're so used to having everything good?
That is one thing, yeah, we're spoiled.
Put it this way, yeah, we are spoiled. Nah, deep it, because let's say, like when the, what's it called, the Ansar took in the Muhajirin, yeah?
Yeah.
Or like when Abu Bakr radiallahu anh gave his entire wealth to the deen,
Radiallahu
and he was
ta'ala
like,
anhu.
I leave for my family, radiallahu anh, I leave for my family, Allah and His Rasul. They basically
Yeah.
had nothing anyway. So it was like, because they had nothing, the only thing that they held on to was Islam. So them having nothing is what made their faith go stronger in Allah and His Rasul, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yeah.
So there was less to distract them. They had nothing to distract them.
We're
Whereas
spoiled.
us, we're spoiled. So because we're used to living in luxury, yeah, anyone that progresses from rags to luxury, they will bite your hand off. But anyone that goes from riches to rags, it's not the actual rags that will kill them. It's the psychological warfare that they have to go through of knowing what they had as opposed to what they're living in now. And
Mm.
we are spoiled. We are spoiled because our previous our predecessors, yeah, they had nothing. Because they had nothing, the only thing that they could hold on to was Islam. Whereas us, we've got so much that we can put our love and faith and affection into, that that's where Islam gets lost, and that's where we get caught up. And that's why I say we can never compare to the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. We can never compare to the Ashab radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. But, but, in this day and age, for you to be a good Muslim, this might sound outrageous. I think doing the bare minimum, doing the bare minimum properly, you could actually be like a wali of Allah. Because of how hard it is now. Not because of how good we are, not because of how good we are, but because of how hard it is.
I agree with that, but I think it's yeah, you have to do the bare minimum. Like I think a lot of people don't know what the bare minimum actually is, though.
Like I said, there's too much to distract us. So anyone that can stay steadfast on the bare minimum, that in
Yeah,
itself is an achievement.
there was one scholar who said that anyone that goes through university and comes out the other end and they still praying 5 times a day and they haven't done zina and they kept their gaze down and they kept their deen, that person is like a wali of Allah because they went through that fitna of a university, and if they're staying away from home, even more fitna, then it's much harder. Obviously, if you went through the COVID years, it was much easier, innit?
Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. Got a free degree out of that.
It wasn't free, bro. It wasn't free.
Hey, hey, if I stay unemployed, it will be free.
Um, but I think the whole spoil thing, because you don't even have to go that far to realize that though. But if you go to like our grandparents that came here, or my parents came here, but like if you go to parents that come here and they wanted to make a life for their youngsters and all that, they put their all into working and making money and all that. Whereas you look at the people that are growing up here, and I don't think they give it their all. There's people that I don't want to do this because I don't feel like doing it, so I'm not going to do it. I'll do something else. Whereas
Because for the
you know the,
generations
the f-
before, it was just black and white, wasn't it? It was
yeah,
either
it's
you
like
work,
if I need money and I want the money, then I need to do this. And it's like,
it
if you
was, it
have
was do or
value
die.
in that thing, but if you have value in that thing, then you're going to do it. That's the other thing. The value of the deen has gone down in the people's eyes, I think,
Of
and
course
that's
it has.
because we're spoiled.
Because there's so many things in our life. There's like if in the Quran, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. How many times does it come? 27?
I
Or
think
was it
so.
18? I can't even remember. But that's terrible.
Neither do I.
But Allah says like, which of your lords, which of the favors will you deny? Which of your Lord's favors will you deny? If we were to put all of those ones in the Quran aside, right? For argument's sake, for argument's sake, I'm talking about the biological ones, the ones to do with the rain and just the general world. And if we were to talk about the superficial things in our life, and we were to talk about them just in somebody's bedroom, just in someone's wardrobe, there'd be about 50 things you could be grateful for. Oh, alhamdulillah, I got a laptop. I can access the internet. Alhamdulillah, I got a phone. Alhamdulillah, I got internet. Alhamdulillah, I got heating. Alhamdulillah, I got water. Alhamdulillah, I got a table. Alhamdulillah, I got a bed. I got a mattress. I got a pillow. I got a duvet. That's about 10
Got
right there.
heating.
Like, these things are like necessities, but at the same time, they are luxuries. Going back to episode number 3 or 2, I don't remember myself, but I'm sure our willing listeners know, so you can quote me, pull me out on that later. But they're luxuries. We've got so much in our life that it's easy for us to forget. When you've got too many things going on, you forget about what's important. Like at work, when I've got 50 things going on, I forget about the most important thing, which is right in front of me. And that's what it is as Islam right now. Perhaps it's the game
Mm.
of the shayateen to create so much where it's easy for us to get distracted. Like, we're meant to be on a path towards heaven, and when we're on a journey, you go on the quickest route, the fastest route. You don't go sideways, you don't sidetrack, you don't stop here, you don't stop there, you don't go here, you don't go there. You just go on that straight path. But when you're on that
Yeah.
path and you see something that entices you, you look over and it's like, oh, what's that going on over there? Next thing you know, you're distracted. Either you've gone over there and you've gone off the path, or you've taken your eye off the road, and next thing you know, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
True.
That's the life. That's the life. Maybe it's
Yeah,
better.
it's over like
Maybe
that.
it's
But yeah,
better.
that's the thing though. Like we said, it's it comes in the Quran. It comes in our Deen teaches us all the time. We're into uddu ni'matallahi la tuhsuha, right? Even if you were to try to count or try to surround and count the numbers, gather the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you won't be able to. And then the other one, al-malu wal-banunu zinatul hayati dunya. That, the wealth and the children are all beautified things of the dunya. Zina is something that is being beautified for you. Something with jewelry on it, something with glitz and glamour that makes you want it. But then, wal-baqiyatul salihat, and the rest of it is, good actions. If you stay away from your zina, if you stay away from the dunya, then you'll have the zina. You'll have you'll have the akhirah and the dunya.
So what's the
But
solution?
that's like the solution.
What's the practical solution to not get caught up in the dunya and to focus on our path, which is ultimately
Getting Jannah.
Firdaus? Yeah.
I would say there's two answers to that. One is a very simple one, a very easy one. Sunnah.
Mhm.
Just go look up the Sunnah, go find out more about the Sunnah. Like, attend the masjids more to learn about these kind of things. All masjids should have a capable Imam to teach people about the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ without trying to knock someone else. Because I see that a lot nowadays. When everybody wants to refute someone and these people do something wrong and that. It's like if you can agree on certain things, because everybody agrees on the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
and they agree on the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa taala. So if you could keep people on that and not try to knock someone off every time you get a chance, they're not Muslim, or they're not, or they're deviant, or they're this and they're that, then I guess you have less distractions and you focus more on the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's the simple answer.
I think if everyone just focuses on their duties, like we said, not their rights, their duties as a Muslim. That's it. That's it. You don't have time to be distracted. You don't have time to be distracted. Easier said than done. Let's say, for argument's sake, somebody was to commit to the wajib, which is going to the masjid for salah in congregation. That is something I'm so guilty of not doing myself. So I make intention to go at least once a day, even though I'm at work. I make intention to go once a day, which means I go Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and Fajr. It's 4 out of 5. I make intention to go to at least one a day. Yeah. If someone was to do
Yeah.
that 5 times a day, they're not gonna have time to get up to all the other nonsense that's going on in their life. Think about it. A working person going to the masjid 3-4 times a day. That's like what, half an hour of the time, 45 minutes of the time. And that time adds up every single time. You're not gonna have time to get caught up in all the other nonsense and distractions in life. Be it the phone, be it the Netflix, or I don't know what else is a distraction. The gym? Nah, gym's not a distraction, that's beneficial. But you see what I mean. If you follow Islam properly, you don't have time to get distracted. Maybe I ought to become full-time Imam. What are you saying now? You're almost Kyron.
They are, man. Why not?
What, they getting rid of you or something?
Nah, they just need someone else. I ain't good enough.
Aye, crazy. They're the ones that probably say to you that why is it not popping off here? You're not good enough.
Nah, I don't know if they watch this stuff. If they were to watch it, they'd probably tell me to stop.
Why?
I don't think I say things that they agree with or that they like me saying.
If you were to pop off and you were to become an internet sensation, your masjid will be like, yeah, Inaam, we'll buy you a new microphone.
Doubt it. They would probably tell me, yeah, you buy a microphone for us because the one that you're using seems to be good.
Either that or cancel culture. They try and cancel you, even though you're one of their own. Probably your cousins and stuff as well.
No, they're not. They're not really related.
Fair enough. We've gone really off topic. We were talking about LGBT. Now we've come here talking about cancel culture. Damn, we
Well,
really went
if you
off on
think of
holiday
it,
then.
they both are cancel culture, man.
Mm. So that youth guy you were telling me about, what was his answer to being indoctrinated or forced to support?
So I guess he touched on the whole thing about in Canada, it is being forced, right? It's about forced on the parents. If your child wants to transition, you go and let them transition. You don't have a say. And he's thinking that in the future that will happen here. That's what he's saying. Like, it's now being told to them that they have to listen to it or whatever, but soon it will be forced that even if they want to do it, parents can't do anything about it. That's what I guess he was trying to say.
I suppose in that case, that comes down to the individual. Like at the end of the day, we're responsible for ourselves. We're all culpable for our own actions, and for someone to not go there, all you can do is guide them. But ultimately, it boils down to what you as a person have in your heart and what you want to do. So, like, even if it wasn't a world where it was being practiced or not practiced, if somebody really wanted to do it, they would do it. If someone really didn't want to do it, they wouldn't do it. Like, influence does play a key part, but it matters what's in your heart and what you genuinely want to do.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of like the whole, if it's being forced on you, if it's being forced on you, like there are ways of politically and socially communicating that it's not something that you want to support. The first is not supporting is not opposing. Not supporting is not opposing, right?
Yeah.
So there needs to be a clear distinction there. If you're not gonna walk around waving somebody else's flag, that doesn't mean you're against them. Because you being against them means you have an anti flag, which is opposing of the other person's belief, saying you're wrong. So for you not to support, it's completely wrong. Because if you were to flip that, if somebody says to you, Inaam, that you have to celebrate pride with me and you have to accept my belief, you turn around and you say, okay, cool, I'll accept it, you accept Islam. What will they turn around and say? Oh, you can't force it on me. You're indoctrinating me. You're forcing it upon me. There's no compulsion in religion. That's it. You need not say more. You need not say more. What they've already said, they already know the answer to you, your response. So khalas,
True.
finished. Khalas, finished. And for the people that are really, really, mashallah, thick in the head, yeah, may Allah help them lose some weight there. Yeah. For them, use an example, use an analogy. If you're a football fan, right? Let's use an analogy from football. If you support a particular team, right? Let's say you support Man City, Manchester City. You're gonna wear Manchester City top because that's the represented. That represents who you support, right?
Yeah.
Now, if a West Ham fan comes up to you and says, "Oi, geezer, wear this Hammers top and sing 'Come on, you Irons' and do that X as well," and you say no, does that mean you're against them? Does that mean you hate West Ham? Does that mean you got some problems with them? Does that mean you got beef with them? No, it doesn't. It just means that you support Man City. You support Man City, who's a completely different team to West Ham. So you support your team, I support my team, and may the best team win.
True.
It's the same thing here. Like, kid at school got his beliefs. The school's teaching something else. We live in a country where, what is it? Freedom of speech, tolerance. Tolerance is also a two-way street, isn't it? Tolerate someone that doesn't accept your views. Don't
It
tolerate
depends.
abuse. Don't tolerate
Depends
someone that
on what
opposes
views,
you.
innit?
But you tolerate someone that doesn't sympathize with you, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the
That's
idea, right? But obviously, it's not like that happens in work, in practice, should I say?
exactly. So then it is a double standard, and there is
That's
a
just another way to complain. If you ask me, just saying that it's not working and stuff, and well, that's it, innit? Double standards. What can we do?
no. It
That's
is
just
a
another
double
way to
standard.
just give up.
The
Oh,
adhan, yeah.
that's my azan. Yeah.
I'm gonna pause
Allahu
it.
Akbar.
Look, like I was saying, this double standard or this idea of tolerance is flawed because true tolerance is being able to accept someone whose view is completely different to yours but still existing.
Yeah.
Like tolerance is football clubs like Everton and Liverpool. You got two teams that are two completely separate teams in the same city within the vicinity of what 50 meters of each other. That's tolerance. That's tolerance. Two completely opposing football clubs. One's relegation fodder, one's meant to be at the top. Completely different. That's what you call tolerance. Of course, there is some friction. They don't get along and they fight. But that's a better example of tolerance than what we're seeing in schools where someone's saying, you have to accept my views. No. You can practice your views, but let me practice mine. That's what the world is. That's what the world is. That's what true tolerance is. Where I can sit here and say that I believe that I'm a Muslim and that I do not agree with LGBT and I wouldn't do it in my life. But if somebody else wants to go and do that, I've got nothing against it. I've got no problem with it. That's your life. You go do it. Nothing to do with me. So long as you let me practice my life of being a man who praises Salah, prays to God, fasts in the month of Ramadan, does his thing, you can do whatever you want. Whatever fantasies and stuff you have, it's got nothing to do with me. That's tolerance. You do you and I do me, and I got no problem with you. I don't treat you any different, nor do you treat me different. The minute you come and tell me you have to accept it, no. That's you being a hypocrite. And you got bigger issues that you got to think about if you're being a hypocrite internally. And that's what I want to say. But yeah, that's me going on a bit of a tangent.
I want to quickly say, just for the people that are watching the video, that I'm actually looking at the laptop. I'm not looking away. Just if anyone thinks that I'm being rude to Hafiz Binyamin.
Nah, it's cool. You're lowering the gaze, isn't it?
Right,
Hey, I don't know. I don't know.
The other solution about, protecting yourself from this is because you can use all that, all right, yeah, let me do what I do, you do what you do, but it's still going to be pushed in schools. So I guess the other solution, other than learning the sunnah, is those 4 hadith that Abu Dawud rahmatullahi alayhi, Imam Abu Dawud rahmatullahi alayhi, wrote after he compiled his sunnah, I believe it was. He said there's 4 hadith, if a person was to take, understand and use, he would meet, I believe he said he would meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a clear chest on the day of Qiyamah. The first one being the very famous one, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Indeed, all actions are going to be judged or according to their intentions. So if somebody knows that and thinks of that constantly, whenever they pray their salah, whenever they're going to do something, they'll see, what is my intention for it? Making sure that they're sincere. We touched on that earlier, making sure that we're sincere in our actions. The next one, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. That, nobody has brought full iman until they love for their brother what they love for themselves, to the nearest meaning. And then the third one, من حسن الإسلام المرء ترك ما لا يعني. From the goodness of Islam is a person leaves what doesn't concern him. Like, how many times do we see people talking about things that they don't need to talk about? So that's the third one. And then the fourth one is al-halalu bayyin wal-haramu bayyin. And then I don't know how the rest of the Arabic goes. But the nearest meaning, haram has been told for us, has been explained to us what it is, and haram has been also explained. And whatever is in between that is mushtabihat, that is, things that are doubtful. So we stay away from those doubtful things, stay in the halal guidelines, and that's all you need to do. And if you follow these 4, then you see that your life will be bliss, you'll be according to the sunnah, you'll be given barakah, because you're following the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. But all you have to do is understand these, learn these, and try implement them. Min husn al-Islam al-mar'u tarku ma li is the easiest one to implement, inshallah.
May Allah make it such that we implement these and become steadfast on these 4 hadith. Ameen.
Ameen. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.